Greetings from our channel. Accent Avenue is where you start learning English. I have a really special story for you today that will forever alter your perspective on learning English. Picture yourself in a packed room, your hands shaking, your heart racing, and everyone watching you, waiting for you to say something. Your mouth opens, but nothing escapes. Words are stuck inside your head and won't come out. Some people laugh, others mumble, and you want to vanish. When speaking English, have you ever experienced this feeling? Have you ever feared making a mistake, receiving criticism, or feeling inadequate? This is more than just a tale. This is your tale. And you'll see today that you can become fluent in English, regardless of how poor it is and how many times you've failed. There is more to English than just language. You can use it as a key to open up countless options. You can travel the world, get better jobs, make new friends, gain confidence, and most importantly, start a whole new life. Not only will this story motivate you, but it will also give you clear instructions on how to improve your English and transform your life. Are you prepared then? Are you prepared to start down the path to a better future? Allow me to present to you a person who is very similar to you. Emma is her name, and she used to think she would never be able to learn English. However, what followed permanently altered her life. Emma relocated to a new nation at the age of 23. She was thrilled and full of hopes, but there was a catch. She didn't speak English well. Even though she had studied English in school, it didn't help her in real life. People couldn't understand her when she spoke. She mispronounced words. She used terrible grammar. Even worse, she was afraid to talk. She had a terrible first day in the new nation. She attempted to place an order at a coffee shop. She murmured anxiously, one cup coffee, me, give, please. The cashier seems perplexed. I'm sorry. Emma's cheeks flushed. She made another attempt. I want coffee, she said, as the others behind her burst out laughing. She doesn't even know how to order coffee, someone murmured. Embarrassed, Emma snatched up her coffee and fled the store. She wanted to cry. She wondered if they were correct. I might never be proficient in English. I might as well give up. Emma sat by herself in her small apartment that night, gazing up at the ceiling. She remembered all the times she had suffered, when she felt like an outsider in her own life, when she failed a job interview due to her poor English, and when people disregarded her because she couldn't speak fluently. But then, something took place. She noticed a combatant staring back at her in the mirror. I'm not a moron. I'm not weak. I simply haven't yet learnt the proper method, but I will. I will learn English no matter how difficult it is, and I'll talk with confidence and fluency one day, and nobody will ever make fun of me again. Emma made a life-altering choice that evening. She was determined to learn English. She didn't know where to begin, though. She had tried watching English lectures, reading books, and doing grammar exercises, but nothing seemed to help. Until she came upon something one day that completely altered the situation. Emma vowed to herself the following morning, I'm not going to be scared to make mistakes. I shall talk without fear. No matter how difficult it becomes, I will continue to practice my English every day. However, she felt lost when she attempted to practice. She had no one with whom to converse. She was unsure about where to start. Should she commit words to memory? Does she need to learn grammar? Is it appropriate for her to watch films? Then she had a memory. She had read that thinking in a language is the quickest way to learn it. Perhaps my inability to talk is the issue. Perhaps I'm thinking in my own language first, which is my issue. She changed a little that day. She pushed herself to think in English, rather than thinking in her mother tongue, and then translating it to English. "Good morning, Emma," she told herself as she awoke. "A new day has begun. Today is going to teach you something new." "This is a cup," she thought as she prepared the coffee. "It's coffee. I'm brewing coffee." She went outside and mentally narrated everything in English. "It's an automobile. The sky is blue. The dress that the girl is wearing is crimson." It was difficult at first. She had to pause and think of something to say. However, a remarkable event occurred a few days later. Naturally, her mind began to think in English. Speaking was still frightening to her, but thinking in English was helping. She feared making a mistake. She feared judgment from others. Then she recalled a story her teacher had told her. Making mistakes does not indicate failure. Making mistakes is a sign of learning. Emma then established a new rule. Errors would no longer concern her. She would simply talk. She visited the same coffee shop where she had previously felt uncomfortable that day. "Hello," she murmured, taking a deep breath. "Would you please get me a coffee?" The wording was straightforward but very clear. "Of course," the cashier answered with a smile. "Which size are you interested in?" Emma went into a panic. Despite not understanding the inquiry, she calmly responded, Sorry, could you repeat that?" rather than fleeing. Slowly, the cashier said again, "What size would you like? Big, medium, or small?" Emma grinned. She realized now. Oh, please, medium. She didn't feel like a failure for the first time. She was pleased. She came to a significant realization. To communicate, you do not need to speak English flawlessly. All you have to do is have courage. She felt more confident after that minor victory. She was now prepared to take things a step further. Emma caught sight of something. Babies don't study grammar books to learn languages. They pick up the language through usage, repetition, and hearing. "Why can't I learn like that if babies can?" she pondered. So she created a new regulation. No more dull rules of grammar. No more learning lists by heart. I'll pick up English like a baby. She did the following. 1. She began to listen to English on a daily basis. She listened to podcasts in plain English. She first viewed English language films with subtitles before switching to ones without. She repeated the phrases while listening to English tunes. 2. She imitated others who spoke the language. She would pause a video, mimic the speaker's accent, and repeat what they said. She worked on shadowing by simultaneously saying and listening to a sentence. 3. She talked to herself. In front of the mirror, she engaged in lengthy English language chats. She feigned to introduce herself, order dinner, and gave instructions. 4. She wrote daily in English. She maintained a basic journal. It was a good day today. I visited a park. It was a pleasant day. She jotted down new terms she had discovered. 5. She didn't simply learn words. She learnt phrases. She acquired complete sentences rather than just words. She learned, "I'm hungry. Can I have some food?" rather than hungry. Emma began to notice something amazing within a few weeks. English had become easy. She was talking with more assurance. Conversations were becoming clearer to her. Although she wasn't flawless, she was getting better more quickly than before. Emma was feeling confident when a horrible incident happened. The interviewer asked her a question in English after she submitted her application for a job. She stopped. She lost her thoughts. She was at a loss for words. "I apologize. I'm not sure I understand," she added quietly. "Thank you for coming," the interviewer remarked with a smile. That meant something to her. The job did not go to her. Emma felt disheartened as she made her way home. "I might not be good enough. I may never be able to speak well. I might as well give up." Her eyes welled with tears. Then she had a memory. I didn't come here to give up now. She inhaled deeply and changed her mind. It wasn't over yet. This was only the start. Emma had made great progress. She was learning organically, speaking fearlessly, and thinking in English. However, she failed her first English language employment interview. She was unable to respond to the inquiries. She lost her thoughts. Feeling like a failure, she left. She nearly gave up. Then, however, she recalled something strong. I didn't come here to give up now. I'll get it. I'll get better. And I'll be able to talk boldly and fluently one day. Everything changed at this point. Emma came to see that speaking is only one aspect of learning English. It involves teaching your mind to naturally think, react, and communicate. She devised an effective, step-by-step plan that would transform her from a timid novice into a proficient English speaker. I'll go over everything she accomplished in detail today, so you can take the same route and eventually become fluent in English. Emma started by altering her perspective. She came to see that being flawless is not the goal of learning English. The key is communication. She stopped attempting to sound like a native speaker by translating everything according to grammar standards, and instead concentrated on speaking spontaneously, even when she made mistakes, understanding and reacting. Self-assurance above excellence. She scrawled these phrases on a piece of sticky paper and put them on her mirror one day. First, confidence. Second, fluency. Never perfect. Every morning she read it. She conditioned her mind to think she was entitled to fluency in English. She was aware that half of success is mental. You will never get better if you are afraid of English. However, you will progress more quickly than you ever thought possible if you accept it, talk about it, and make mistakes without feeling guilty. A lesson. You can alter your English by altering your perspective. She is training her ears. The key to English comprehension. Emma's greatest challenge was comprehending rapid-fire English. She came to a significant realization. You can't speak English well if you can't understand it. She therefore trained her ears in the same way that a sportsperson develops their muscles. She practices listening. She began listening to English on a daily basis. English TV series, audiobooks, YouTube videos, and podcasts. She listened using the 3-step process. To understand, start by listening with subtitles. Second, to test her cognitive abilities, listen without subtitles. Third, to help her pronounce words correctly, repeat what she heard. She employed the method of slow listening. She repeated and slowed down challenging sounds until she grasped it. She did not listen passively. She actively listened. What's this conversation about? She asked herself. Which terms are essential? What would I say? Her brain began to recognize English more quickly after a month. Discussions no longer seemed to be a haze, a lesson. You will naturally understand English if you train your ears and listen to it daily. The speaking task. The way she made herself talk. Emma understood she needed to talk more if she wanted to be fluent. However, there was an issue. She had no one with whom to converse. She therefore developed a method for practicing speaking by herself. Emma's persuasive speech strategy. She talked aloud each morning. She explained her intentions. I'm going to the park today. I'll have lunch after that. I'll read a book later. She responded to hypothetical inquiries. What have you done today? She questioned herself. What foods do you enjoy eating? Which pastimes do you enjoy? Then she responded aloud. Her voice was recorded. She taped 2 minutes of herself talking every night. She paid attention and worked on her pronunciation. She joined internet communities for English speakers. She was able to speak with others. Rather than texting, she left voice messages. She saw a significant change in just a few weeks. It was less frightening to speak. The words flowed more quickly. Her self-assurance blew up. A lesson. You can't get better if you're silent. Even if you're alone yourself, talk every day. The expansion of vocabulary. Her method of learning. 3 months and 1,000 words. Emma came to the realization that she frequently struggled due to a lack of vocabulary. However, she employed a more clever strategy, rather than learning lengthy word lists by heart. Words were taught to her contextually. She acquired words inside sentences, rather than recalling words at random. For instance, she learned, "This cake is delicious," rather than just delicious. That eatery serves pretty good meals. She picked up vocabulary from actual talks. She took notes on helpful phrases whenever she watched a film or listened to a podcast. She concentrated on the most often used terms. Because the top 1,000 English terms are used in 90% of discussions, she mastered them. Every day, she reviewed. She reviewed old terms for 10 minutes each day. She applied the rule of 5 times. To help the new words stick, she used them 5 times a day. She added more than 1,000 new words to her repertoire in just 3 months. A lesson. Use new words right away. Review them every day, and learn words inside sentences. The breakthrough in confidence. How Emma attained fluency at last. Real conversations were Emma's last task. She was aware that while learning on its own was beneficial, conversing with others is what truly enables fluency. So she took a risk. She made an effort to speak with native speakers. She attended English meetups in her community. Everywhere, in stores, eateries, and parks, she struck up a discussion. Even if it was only a simple, "Hello, how are you?" She no longer feared making a mistake. Initially, she felt anxious. She erred. However, each discussion improved her. Something spectacular occurred one day. She didn't need to mentally translate because she was speaking to a fluent English speaker. She spoke in a natural way. She felt liberated for the first time. Emma had stopped studying English. She was experiencing it firsthand. A lesson. Real discussions are the source of true fluency. Talk as much as you are able. It was Emma. She progressed from having trouble speaking English to speaking with assurance. She had pushed herself to talk every day, trained her ears, and expanded her vocabulary. However, her adventure was far from ended. She wanted to communicate in more than just English. She desired to use English to transform her life. And she did precisely that. Emma had always wanted to work for a multinational corporation. She desired a career that would allow her to travel, work with accomplished and intelligent people, make a high salary, and feel proud of herself. However, there was a significant issue. English was necessary for the better positions. This dream seemed unachievable at first. "I'll never be good enough in English," she used to think. "I won't get a job. I'm not as intelligent as fluent English speakers." However, after months of study and practice, she experienced a transformation. She came to the realization that she had changed. She had put in a lot of effort. She had exerted herself. Every day she had gotten better. She decided as a result, "I'll apply for the job of my dreams. I'm not going to let fear stop me." Emma applied to work for a large multinational corporation. Despite her nervousness, she recalled one thing. "I don't require flawless English. All I need is confidence." Emma didn't flinch when the interviewer asked her to tell me about herself. She spoke with a natural smile. She explained to them how she had put a lot of effort into learning English, how she trained daily to get better, and how she never gave up, even after failing. The interviewer was impressed. "We appreciate your confidence, Emma," they remarked. "We are looking for someone just like you to join our team." Emma suddenly obtained the position and her pay of $4,000 a month, which was more than she had ever made in her life. She broke down in floods of joy when she saw her first paycheck. It was unbelievable to her. Her life had been transformed by English. With the position, Emma's life changed dramatically. She began touring the globe. She had never traveled abroad before studying English. She is currently employed abroad by her employer. She went to London. She talked confidently with native English speakers and viewed Big Ben. Without hesitation, she placed her English coffee order in New York. She presented in English in front of 50 people in Paris. She felt strong, self-sufficient, and unstoppable. She gained self-assurance in all areas. Emma realized that her use of English was not limited to her professional life. It altered her personal identity. She was timid and afraid to speak to others before she learned English. She had constant self-doubt. She felt insignificant. She was confident in her speech after learning English. She had confidence in herself. She believed she was capable of anything. She was informed by a friend one day, "Emma, you've changed since a year ago. You are a totally different person now." She knew, so she grinned. It was accurate. She assisted others in learning English. Emma set a new objective after realizing the impact English has on her life. "I also wish to assist others in learning English." So she began. Teaching her buddies easy ways to get well. Sharing her experiences to help others online. Encouraging people to have confidence in themselves. She came to see that helping others get better was the best way to maintain getting better herself. One thing is demonstrated by Emma's trip. Learning English can transform anyone's life. She now wants to impart her most important lessons to you. Quit claiming that you lack self-belief. "I'll never be able to learn English," Emma used to think. However, she was mistaken. She came to see that belief is the one thing that separates successful people from failed ones. "I'm terrible at English," if you keep telling yourself that. "I'll never be proficient. English is too difficult." Then, you know what? You'll never get better. I can learn English, though, if you start saying that. Every day I get better. I'll get proficient. Then one day you'll awaken and transform into the person you've always imagined yourself to be. Use English on a daily basis. Studying doesn't make you fluent. It results from speaking English in everyday situations. Emma's golden rule. You can't get better if you're silent. Start talking now, even if you're by yourself. Use English while speaking to oneself. Reenact dialogue from films. Instead of texting, send voice messages. Participate in English practice groups. You'll get well more quickly the more you talk. Despite how difficult it may feel, keep going. Emma had several moments of wanting to give up. However, she didn't. She continued to push herself, learn new things, and practice. Why? Because she was aware that every effort matters. You might only pick up one new word today. You might only practice for 5 minutes today. But you know what? Still, that's progress. You will be 365% better in a year if you make 1% progress each day. The future is waiting for you. Act right away. Emma made the decision to act, and it altered her life. She didn't hold out for the ideal opportunity. She began by describing her location and possessions. And now, she works at a job that pays well. She travels all over the world. She has never been more self-assured. All of this occurred as a result of her learning English. It's your time now. Now is your time. Don't give up if you are having trouble with English. Then you could in a year. Be confident when speaking English. Obtain the job of your dreams. Visit breathtaking locations. Take pride in yourself. However, only if you begin today. Recall Emma's tale. She was exactly like you. She felt lost, battled, and failed. However, she continued. and she prevailed in the end. You can too. Your adventure begins right now. Are you prepared to make a life change?